We have a smiling assassin in StarCraft 2, and perhaps we have another one in Warcraft 3, as Hitman looked awfully happy when he had a blade in his hand. It is time for the upper bracket match of Group B. Obviously a big one. The winner moves on to the playoffs. The loser still has to play a couple of, well, at least one more very tough best of 3. I am joined by Remo and Todd on the desk. But first up, obviously we want to hear from you guys at home. Go ahead and place those votes in the Twitch chat. You guys can make your predictions. Hashtag XLO or hashtag HIT for Hitman. Let us know who you guys think is going to win this grudge match. Remo, you guys have been hyping this up. You guys were so excited. I hope we got to see XlorD versus Hitman. It's here. Tell the people at home, why should we be so excited for this?
Yeah, this is really cool. This has been building up for quite some time. XlorD, you know, very outspoken guy and likes to make some jokes, crack some jokes every now and then. And oftentimes NA was at the end of that joke, saying the NA region is ridiculous and they don't have strong players. And Hitman, of course, always standing against that. Now it's finally going to come to a head. Not just Hitman, but the entire NA region wants to put XlorD in his place, show him where he belongs, and that's in the lower bracket.
Todd, looking at this head-to-head graphic, is there anything that stands out for you other than how beautiful XlorD is?
I mean, Hitman just dropped a few ranks, mostly because he played random in some recent Open Cups, so he lost to some scrubs he never should have lost to. But other than that, like, he's usually way higher. He's like usually top 10 in the world, and yeah, I think this is like world-class match here between two of the best that actually kind of don't like each other. I don't remember exactly what was said, but I think it was something along the lines of XlorD saying that Hitman wasn't nearly as good as he thought he was, and he was down to play against him down the line. Unfortunately, online, it's not possible because both players would have around 100 MS, so it's not very fair. We're here in Sweden with reduced ping. We saw plenty of denies. These guys have actual good ping, and now they're playing each other in fair conditions. We get to find out who wins between them. This is amazing.
Remo, do you think it's worrisome that XlorD, or excuse me, that Hitman dropped one of the maps against Lucael, or was it just Lucael playing very well? And do you think that does not really matter coming into this best of 3?
Honestly, I did expect him to play a little bit cleaner than he did, so I would say, yeah, a little bit so. I have seen Hitman dominate utterly before in this matchup, even before Fastier days. Is that because he underestimated Lucy? Perhaps that's why. Is that because his shape today isn't the best? That could also be a reason. If it is, that could be a problem. I think he needs to play a little bit better, honestly, to beat XlorD here coming up.
Todd, I know Undead vs Orc is not quite Undead vs Human, but boy oh boy, XlorD did look good against Chamiko.
Yeah, looks like he's on point. He was really well prepared. I wonder how much he will have prepared for a potential Orc matchup, because usually, you know, the one, like you're meeting Chamiko, one of the best players in the world, that's the matchup you want to focus on going into this tournament, but then you can't ignore the other matchups. So here against Hitman, has he had the same type of preparation? If he has, and he shows up on the same form that he had against Chamiko, perhaps he might be the favorite here. I feel like it's really hard to tell.
Do you guys think that this is a match that's even more important than it normally is already, because there is that chance for a rematch against Chamiko, and that is one of the strongest human players in the world? Like, often we're like, okay, if you don't get the job done here, maybe you get it done in the decider match, but I feel like this one is kind of for all the marbles immediately.
I also think that first place is so important. Like, I'm going to keep repeating it. Like, if you get first place, you might avoid Happy, you might avoid Moon. These are the guys you want to meet as late as possible.
Also Foggy, we've seen him do so well already. He's in first place. He's not someone you want to meet here too early. Both these guys not having the best time against him. Chamiko, I'm pretty sure he's going to come back in the lower bracket. I think he's going to get a second win, and especially Hitman has been struggling against Chamiko. So this is a matchup he wants to avoid going to the quarters.
All right, it is time for predictions, apparently. I don't know if I want to start this one off, because this one is actually pretty hard to call. You know what, Todd? Why don't you go first? You don't shy away from a little controversy.
I feel like you guys are going to pick XlorD, so I'm going to have to go Hitman, NA, repping NA. I got my NA heart on, and I think it's going to be cool either way, whoever wins. I got Hitman with a 2-1 close series.
I'm glad to hear you got your NA heart on. I have to stick with XlorD. He's my boy, and I think he's been looking really good today. 2-1 for XlorD.
Then I'll go with Hitman, I guess. I mean, someone has to believe
in... You play Orc.
Yeah, someone has to believe in the Orcs. I gotta say, this whole head-hunted thing, I don't know if I'm on board, but it did look pretty mighty fine in Game 2 and Game 3. I'm really excited for it. You guys done an amazing job in hyping this match up. I feel like the players are very excited for this one as well, right? It's one of these matches where, as a player, you're nervous, but you also really want to play it.
Yeah, there's some history behind this. There was like some card show matches planned, but then again, the ping was not suitable. This has been building up for a while. There is some extra spice to to this one. There's a low bracket still, the safety net, but this is, you know, this is going to be some prestige and some bragging rights.
I do believe that we've got the results coming in from Twitch chat. Actually, kind of curious what you guys have been voting. I wanted to ask you guys what you expected. Seems like Twitch chat is on my side and it's going to give a small edge to Hitman. 60-40. Todd, does that make sense to you? Are the Americans that fanatic?
Yeah, I think, and also it's starting to be a better hour for them to watch that because we start like very early, especially for the West Coast. But now I think the NA community is gonna show up strong. I can't imagine the chat for this. I might be in there myself, spamming a couple emotes during the series to have some fun. Yeah, it makes sense. It will be close to 50-50 here.
I mean, this is obviously a massive tournament, and I know we're taking this incredibly seriously. But do you think there's a chance that if someone is ready to win either the 2-0 or 2-1, then we'll see some spiciness, maybe something, you know, some meme buildings, a smiley face here and there? Remo, is that possible?
You know, both of these guys are very much known for their all-chatting, and they like playing with that controversy. They never really go too much overboard, but they like to stir the pot every now and then a little bit. This is a big stage. They're right over there. They're right next to each other, so you don't want to be too daring, especially as Hitman, you know, with 5'6", you got to be careful. But I could see it.
Rocky really looks up to Dana White. He's going to step in there and no touching, no touching.
I mean, they had dinner yesterday. We all sat at the same table. We just spoke about Warcraft and the old days. It seems like they get along kind of well, even if they didn't sit next to each other. I didn't feel any tension in the air.
No, I think that they play it up a little bit. Of course, online for the fans, for the boys, you know, to add a bit of spice. Especially XlorD, like when it comes actually down to the game, actually playing in person, he seems to be pretty relaxed, always in full control of his emotions. He keeps his cool at all times. So does Hitman usually, but there have been sometimes these big matches where he failed. We think back especially to the game against Cruncher at the regional finals where he didn't get first place for once. So sometimes there seem to be some issues arising that perhaps for XlorD they don't. And this is certainly one of the biggest matches he's ever had here on a stage like this.
Yeah, I mean, Hitman in the past, no stranger to traveling though, Todd. He even made the journey to Europe once for a StarCraft 2 tournament, so he's not completely unfamiliar with this kind of an environment.
Yeah, I don't think he gets too nervous playing on stage and stuff. Like, you mentioned it, like he went to Germany, he played against some big player. He was against Elaser in the decider match of his group, and he cheesed the hell out of him to actually advance. Yeah, so he's no familiar, he's no stranger to these situations, and I think it's the experience here is going to be important. Not to, you know, like they call it the special like choke where you play really bad at the last second. I don't think this should affect either player, but they have to be feeling good about playing on stage and giving it their best, so we can see a close series, Remo.
We have one more thing coming in, and those are the map picks and bans, something that we should have done earlier, but you know, it took a little while. I guess they were deep into the lab trying to figure out what they wanted to play on and what they wanted to get rid of. Obviously, Remo, once you see the maps, let us know if there's anything that stands out for you, especially strategy-wise, something we can expect from either Hitman or XlorD.
Yeah, it's very likely that both are going to play Standard, which is fast the 800 against DK. There's always the possibility of Blade Master. This might be a tell already. XlorD gets rid of Concealed Hill. That's very standard. Best Orc map right there. Hitman, it seems like always vetoes Echo in every matchup, and I agree. Tough for Orc. We see Shallow Grave vetoed by XlorD. We saw that before as well. The new map, I think he's not so familiar with it yet. Last Refuge can be tough for creeping as well. Very understandable vetoes so far. XlorD chooses Tide Hunters, and we have Autumn Leaves for Hitman, leaving us with number 7, which I always fail to realize.
Northern Isles.
I'm glad you're here, Roddy.
I've done my homework, mate.
Right.
Don't you worry.
He's like Maelstrom.
I mean, earlier today when we did the map list segment, I was so excited. I was like, no wood, lost tempo. I was like, wait, you guys switch it up finally? It's good to see that Echo Isle hasn't changed at all, though.
Is it good?
Is it though?
Still no creeps. I mean, like 7 minutes in, it's like, all right, do we fight in your base or my base? What are we going to do, guys?
You know, it's interesting how Tide Hunters and Autumn Leaves, like, they're pretty new. They're like the latest maps that were added. Initially, they kept getting vetoed, but now we're seeing them almost every series. So it's really changed. Perhaps Shadow Grave, the next one, to become like a staple of like the best of 3 series that gets played every time.
Yeah, they've still been pretty timid here. It has been added only during winter, so we're going to go with a tried and true. And I hope there's going to be 3 maps. I would love to see a closely fought battle. This is what the fans want and what they deserve.
All right, Todd, I believe that we are going to get pretty close to throwing it over to the casters. So do you have any final thoughts real quick? Something you want to get off your mind?
This is to decide which is better, Europe or NA. So for all the marbles here. I mean, for the time being, up until, you know, maybe Hitman meets Happy down the line. For now, we get to find out whether EU or NA is better. And there is no better rivalry in all of esports.
Remo, any final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about strategy-wise?
You know, honor on the line, players giving it their all, regions represent, not just here on stage, but also on Twitch chat. I want to see you guys active and support your player. And then we're going to enjoy this one.
Well, we're almost ready. It seems like one of the players is not quite able to join yet, but that should just be a matter of seconds. You guys have done an amazing job in getting me excited for it. I feel like the players are kind of excited as well. It is time to officially throw it over to the casters. Have fun with Hitman versus XlorD. NA number 1 or NA Lul? That is the question, Carson. We can finally settle this after 2 years of talking. We're down to a best of 3 for $2,000 for the entry into the quarterfinals. Who's gonna follow Foggy and Focus?
Yeah, this is the first one I'm a little bit nervous for. I think reasonably so. I mean, there's going to be memes for probably the next 5 years about this. People will be talking to, they'll be telling their kids about this. I feel like this is really a matchup that has been on everyone's mind. There's been multiple Reddit posts, Twitter posts, everything you can name about this matchup specifically at this event specifically. Everyone's been hoping for it.
Oh man, yeah. This will of course only be topped by Hitman versus Happy probably, but it's a little bit WWE UFC press conference style between these two. Long time where they're talking about each other, rarely with each other, but yeah, they will settle it without words, but with many heroes and many units. To me, this is a very interesting matchup because we know that both players are really good, and we don't really know how good they are really in this matchup because no disrespect to all the undeads in the Americas, but nobody is close to the European undeads because that's our main race, I guess, in Europe. And on the other side, we in Europe, we don't have any orcs, so we don't know how good is XlorD really versus orcs. So this will be settled here, and we are moving in to map number 1, everybody. This is exactly why everybody was so excited for this event here in Stockholm. On the upper left-hand side, it's the American Lin. It is Victor Hitman Lin.
And in the bottom right, from Germany, it is XlorD.
Kind of weird that we introduced the other region, but I guess it's fair play, right?
We show some respect for each other, I suppose.
TT, HF, we're good sport here on the caster desk for now, at least.
Good luck, Neil. Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun, indeed. May the best man win.
Absolutely.
And item luck not decide this matchup. Oh boy, this is more, I guess, of what we've seen before, right? In Hitman versus Lucy, where surprisingly Hitman was dropping a map. Can he stand XlorD? I think, whoopsie, a little bit of a technical issue here. So in general, XlorD should be higher ranked or higher rated than Lucifer, but also I think throughout the series, Hitman was accelerating quite a bit. He was picking up pace and he got the momentum now after his Winnerbracket loss, while XlorD was waiting quite a bit.
For sure, yeah, and I think there was a clear difference between Game 1 and Game 3 for Hitman in his first series. So, and even Game 3 better than Game 2. They were both quite dominant. There was a couple of mishaps with, I think, the Shadowhunter in particular. Was out of position a couple of times. And XlorD isn't going to let Hitman slip up with that. If he finds a hero, it's dead immediately. The silences are going to be on point. The nukes are going to be immediate. So Hitman cannot make those sorts of mistakes.
We have no alt chat yet. I guess we have the standard opening for Hitman in the upper left-hand side. With the Farseer on the other side, of course, a DK. Is there any chance for a Blade Master game? Is there any chance that XlorD is not going DK Dark Ranger?
I think there's potential. Hitman was, I know, wondering whether or not XlorD was going to play DK or Crippler because he would pretty much assume they were going to face each other, whether it be in the lower bracket or the upper bracket of this group. They knew they were going to play each other, and he was wondering that. And Hitman might go for a Blade if he thinks XlorD is only going to go for Death Knight. Of course, he doesn't want to play Blade against Crippler. That would be a disaster. But as would Crippler against Farseer, so it's going to be difficult. Who's going to be more confident with these hero choices?
Yeah, we were already a little surprised that XlorD is not going Crippler against Chemico, so I wouldn't expect it here. He played it when he played WGL, but that is such a long time ago, and there was, of course, Netty servers playing from Germany, which is not the ideal scenario here.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting also that the momentum seems to be a little different than everybody was expecting going into this group. Like XlorD absolutely destroying Chemico, Hitman struggling a little with Lucy. What does it tell us, really?
Yeah, I mean, the warm-up is important, I suppose, and both these players are going to be warmed up. Luckily, they don't meet right away. They're both ready to go here. And actually, I really like this opener from XlorD, by the way. This is different. He pulled 2 ghouls right off the bat so that he could creep his orange camp in its entirety if he got CORSAIR harassed right away. So already we're seeing a little bit of an innovation from XlorD.
Nice to see that. He absolutely did his homework. He's oftentimes saying, I have to work so much, I have to crunch the hours at the moment, I can't really do, but man, there's the double Cloak of Shadows. But man, he comes prepared for sure. And on the other side, gloves and claws. That's what the undeads love.
Yeah, that's rough items for Hitman. One cloak is all right, though, and I think maybe he'd want a mantle there, but the pressure begins. Level 2 versus level 2 tends to favor the Death Knight because you don't have those level 2 wolves yet on the orc side of things, but you do have that aura to start chasing down those headhunters as the undead. So this is going to be a small advantage XlorD here in the early game, but we'll see. They're both just going to continue creeping. So level 3 versus level 3, depending on the health and the mana of the Death Knight, may favor Hitman.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice that XlorD is just moving away. He doesn't want to take more hits. He can't really get a headhunter, so just move to the other side, get level 2 reliably, and man, Mantle of Intelligence. I'm already looking forward to that Lich on tier 3.
That is going to be ridiculous. Also, you know, you could get agility there, and it's perfectly fine for that Dark Ranger at tier 2, but either way, there's going to be a stacked second or third hero for XlorD, and there's a marketplace still as well. And Hitman doesn't have the luxury of being able to go to that marketplace. If he gets claws, if he gets a mantle, not going to change the game, but for XlorD, these items absolutely can.
Next, Creepjack, this time from XlorD, with one Fiend only. That's not too much. Sentry Ward is dropped into the middle of the base. Once again, Hitman trying to scout that Dark Ranger timing. And speaking of timings, Chain Lightning, well used. A little steal again.
The Grunt getting quite low. There is coils to finish that up, but that's why you go for the Grunt. You want to soak up some of that damage. So Hitman not really in any danger. And as he said, this might be a bit ambitious from XlorD to go across the map so early. The question for him becomes, though, what does he creep if he doesn't creep Jack here? He's got to go to the green above his natural expansion. That's the only camp he can take with one Fiend.
They're disengaging without too many losses, of course. If you're XlorD, you want the level 3, you want to prevent the Farseer level 3 as the wolves are so strong, but you know, it's not the end of the world. You won't break a leg if that doesn't work. So far, we don't really have a clear advantage, do we?
I think slight advantage for Hitman. That's not taking the items into account, because when tier 2 comes around, when he gets that Dark Ranger XlorD, it's going to be a big difference maker. It's going to depend on that timing, I think, in particular.
Speaking of timings, tier 2 is about to finish, and XlorD is not in position at the tavern, so I think this is Hitman's main objective at the moment, to create some space, so the Dark Ranger is as delayed as possible. But as tier 2 hits, he pulls back, maybe a little too early. Could he stopped him there for a second or two?
Maybe there was another Fiend. The second Fiend went around to the tavern anyway, so Hitman, if he tried to delay it, probably would have ended up being a mistake. Nice little coil there. He had the skeleton in front for a little while. So first blood, actually, to XlorD after all these skirmishes in the early game. Now the Dark Ranger here, and the Aura online, you can really start to chase these headhunters down.
Yeah, that tier 2 timing for the Undead is really where this matchup is taking a turn. Before that, the Farseer is super obnoxious, but once the Dark Ranger is out, you're facing these black arrows, you can't really fight anymore, and the faster you disengage, usually the better. Wolves take some damage, but XlorD should have a coil at least soon, and the Fiends can still move away. Instant tier 3 tech on both sides.
Yeah, that was a second headhunter surround there too, so really nice aggression here from XlorD. That's pretty much what he needs to get done. If you don't kill any headhunters, you tend to be on the back foot around the tier 3 timing, so killing 2 headhunters is going to mean XlorD is going to be even stronger when they both hit that tier 3 power spike. TC out. Hasn't skilled yet. Could go for a stomp, and that's a grunt as well. This is a great early game. TP might be forced, but that'll be another headhunter if he commits to that surround.
XlorD's DK well oiled up, gets out of that surround, has to invest another storm, but it doesn't work. We've seen that before against Lucifer, that Hitman storms are not on point today.
Yeah, a third headhunter and a grunt so far. 4-0. Chain Lightning, finally a Fiend. Now, it's still going to be advantage XlorD. If Hitman can get one more Fiend, it would be an even trade altogether. But one Fiend for soon to be 4 headhunters here and a grunt, huge advantage for XlorD.
XlorD plays this really, really well. Hitman splitting units to all sides here on Tidehunters. Dark Ranger trying to get the kill. Skeletons, who's gonna get it? Not really sure if it was the creeps or the Dark Ranger herself. But still, a headhunter down is a headhunter down. And when you said, oh, 2 headhunters down, I thought, okay, that's still doable. But that was a wonderful timing by XlorD.
The 4th goes down there too. That is massive. So that's a ton of kills. That's 11 supply down, traded for 3 in the early game. And obviously a Fiend is more valuable than a Grunt, but still 4 Headhunters. Just look at the creeping speed. It's gone. And normally you'd be able to creep almost any camp except for the top red at this stage in the game with the Torrent Chieftain.
And we saw against Lucy how Hitman's level 5 TC was an absolute weapon of mass destruction. If you can't creep him in time with all the headhunters he had in the previous game, this is not going to be as dangerous. And XlorD is just accelerating here, I think. Level 3, level 2 very, very soon. He doesn't have to be too afraid to be creep-jacked, even though Hitman is coming in. Might throw a Chain Lightning here into the gears.
And no way he gives that up. No, perfectly done, perfectly timed. Dark Ranger gets level 2, and a Pendant of Energy. The items, also worth noting, these items probably helped a lot for XlorD to get those unit kills aggressively on the map early on, and now the luck is continuing. A Pendant of Energy, that's excellent. And worth noting, all the Headhunters that Hitman lost, now he's got to spend so much time getting the Berserker upgrade at tier 3, he can't even replenish those numbers for a really long time. So XlorD, his Lich is going to be out in 10-15 seconds. He's going to have a massive timing to fight.
What I do like is still a Watch Award for Hitman. There's the Ring of Protection and Gloves, so he won't, like the TC won't be nuked into oblivion right away, but it's gonna be rough. Like Hitman needs to make a play right now. The early game goes to XlorD on tier 3 is where the game gets decided, obviously, but if XlorD, he's on cruise control. Like everything is going, I don't want to say super smooth because they lost the Fiend, but the levels are almost there. The 3 heroes are here, the Orb is here. It's up to Hitman to change that now.
For sure, yeah, Hitman needs to, like you say, make a play or have a really good positioning in the first big tier 3 versus tier 3 fight. If they both just have good positioning, XlorD is just going to be objectively ahead. Coil Nova, CORSAIR, one more coil, won't force the TP, but it'll be very close.
And that is the speed scroll gone. And he can creep that marketplace for pretty much free. On the other side, Hitman goes to the rat spot. That's of course a nice bit of experience, but there's sharing the map. I guess if you really want, you can pull back a little, go for the lab, go for the Dark Rangers. Oh, I think I saw another claw and a scroll, and there's no dispel on Hitman's side, so this Scroll of the Beast is a huge damage boost.
Yeah, that was the second claw purchase there, absolutely. And now Heal Wards is great for Hitman, but he's going to have to Town Portal. I doubt he has reinforced defenses right now. This is going to be a burrow or two in a forced fight. 41 against 44, tier 3 just kicked in for Hitman. He's got to push an invulnerability. Level 4 TC, somehow that happened. But this is definitely going to have to be a TP.
Ooh, XlorD can't really get this. Very, very quick repair. Does he want to fight this? Silence on the TC, breaks through with an Invo Potion. Massive stomp. Destroyer might be caught in the open, but there's also Focus Fire on the Shadow Hunter. Silence again! XlorD taking care of that healer here, but it was only level 1. The heal wave is gone, and that stomp looks a lot better, but also another unit of Hitman taking out. The Scroll of the Beast is absolutely massive, but we're still on even supply.
Yeah, a couple of Headhunters get back. The Kodo has eaten a Fiend, and the stomps have been big. That wasn't the best of the 3, but the first 2 really carried this fight. Dark Ranger, Town Portal passed. And Hitman, although he lost his Shadow Hunter for the 3rd, 4th time today, I think that was a great fight for him.
Okay, he has definitely time to level up that TC, and maybe not level 5 here, maybe if he pulls the Farseer away, but he wants that level 2 Chain Lightning that got him so many kills earlier against Lucy. Robe of the Magi, never to be underestimated for all 3 heroes of the Orc. Pretty good. And what's XlorD's response now that he's threatened for the first time?
Yeah, he's trying to go to the bottom of the map, but he should have been aware that most of it was crept. I think running straight to the top to the red would have been wiser. Yes, he would have given up this next consumable, but they're gonna trade 1 for 1. Hitman actually weirdly not going up to the red himself. Maybe he's assuming that XlorD is doing the red. So they're both sort of just going to run into each other again. But now XlorD is going to end up ahead because of this greater mana potential here.
Oh my god, big Invul Potion, not bad against the devious snipes of Hitman. We're closing in on 50 supply once again. We don't see any kind of transitions just yet. I guess we won't see that. Just more and more upgrades for what we have already.
Yeah, and maybe potential Spirit Lodge for Hitman before he breaks upkeep, but I don't think that's likely. I think he just wants +3 attack, and then to take a big fight at 50 supply, and then either Tiny or lose that fight and probably lose the game. That'll probably be Hitman's side of things. For XlorD, of course, just more Fiend upgrades, I feel.
And another creep jack attempt here. Dark Ranger got the Flute, which is a massive damage boost for the entire Undead army. But the timing for Hitman
There's no TP.
Is pretty good.
There's no TP, these Fiends.
Exactly. Trying to eat one. The Wolves are hungry. TC going for the Dark Ranger and the next Fiend. Okay, no hero focus anymore. And that's a triple kill for Hitman.
Yeah, the Raider died, so the Destroyer cannot be ensnared out of position. The Nova was big. These items can still carry. This Dark Ranger's doing a ton of damage. Lich, gotta be careful. Potion of Invulnerability. Dark Ranger still has a Pendant of Energy. Can't tell you why, but Heal Word in the back canceled, and XlorD retreats, losing 3 Fiends and killing, I believe, a Headhunter and a Raider there.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest fight again. But okay, the item is most important, I feel, and not crumbling here. He wants to do more damage. He gets great vision with the Destroyer. Maybe able to snipe something. He's at least forcing a heal wave here. As long as the Shadowhunter is not level 3 and the TC is not level 5, you might feel comfortable even though you're not level 3 yet.
Excellent burrow dodge there, but the Dust is also excellent. And the Chain Lightning, the coil, not at least miscoiled. Mana Pot was used there. And Hitman trying to not get kited to death here, loses 1 unit to Coil Nova. You see what XlorD is doing. He's just running forward, running back, doing damage with the heroes, and Hitman is just going to continue to lose units if there's no Raiders here.
Very smart play by XlorD. He also goes, oh that's
no.
the Destroyer snipe! 5 supply gone! On the other side, opening up the backline a little bit. Triple stomp in the front row. The Chain Lightning is so powerful. Coil again on the Dark Ranger. XlorD actually very afraid of that hero focus. Wonderful Death Pact here on the DK.
Yeah, he's, I suppose, has to be afraid. The TC, now level 5. That Destroyer really out of position. I feel like XlorD could have kited a bit better there, but it is difficult micro. Of course, Hitman, shop control. What can he get? Potion of Vulnerability, of course, needed just to break the silence, if not break the hero focus, and Hitman backs away. He could Tiny, but there's just no gold for either player. 39 supply versus 50. Hitman with a big advantage, but again, I say it, the items can always carry XlorD at this stage.
Okay, but he's not close to 50 even. He just spent 200 gold. I'm not 100% sure on what. Maybe a new rod of
He bought a new rod. That's interesting.
Yeah. At that stage of the game.
Very weird. I mean, more skeletons always good if you pass it along the heroes. 6 skeletons on top of the Dark Ranger, but you're not supposed to have corpses when you're playing Dark Ranger. So, interesting, reasonable, but the hero levels, strong for both players. Now the fight for the red camp begins. One of 2 camps, the second being, or one of 3. Second and third being an orange and a green that are kind of not the best. The red camp on the minds of both players, probably.
Hitman can figure this out. He has an illusion at the bottom, so he probably knows where XlorD is. He should also know that there's no expansion or anything cheeky coming up. Red spot approached by XlorD. And this is a little bit of a weird situation for Hitman. How do you engage into that spot?
I don't know if you can. I think he was just too late to get here. What he can do is at least force a fight. Still no town portal for XlorD, and he can maybe stop him from getting this Granite Golem, and he will. It's going to run back into him, though, and then if it starts clapping his army, that's going to be terrible.
Okay, but he could easily snipe this now. Half the work is already done. How much will this creep help XlorD? Did Mouseboards bribe the creeps once again?
Man, and we know that was going to be Khadgar's for XlorD too if he got that. So this is very important for Hitman. He's actually going to go for it, committing in. Going to get the item Stomp on the Dark Ranger, but that is wasted mana there. Gets Helm of Valor, that's not too bad, but not game-winning. The position, the Destroyer is out again. 2 Fiends get stomped. The Kodo's going to eat, and this is again a good fight potentially for Hitman, but he's got to speed scroll away.
Let's see how many Headhunters are falling here. The damage of the Dark Ranger is really, really good, and he takes out more and more control by eliminating Raider after Raider. The Stomps of Hitman are getting a lot better, and the Wolf summoning as well. So whenever there's a little bit of damage on the Fiend, it's dead. Same goes for the Headhunter. Every focus fire is a kill.
They're both losing everything here, but the coil finally lands. But the Fiend is just dead immediately again. This is ridiculous. How many coils is there left? Looks like 1 left on the Death Knight. 2 Headhunters about to fall. Destroyer can no longer be caught out of... Oh, he can, rather. There's a Raider there. But is there enough damage? There's a ton of mana on the door. Chieftain, look how many Stomps there is.
Okay, the Destroyer needs to save it, but for how long? Stomp doesn't connect a bit. Okay, Destroyer is safe, but is XlorD still safe? He tried to snowball with the Dark Ranger. He took out a lot, but it's level 5 on the Farseer now. It looks like the first map after constant brawling might be decided soon, but XlorD also. Supply lead finally again for the German.
God, these guys are good. Both of them are playing so well. Both of them are trading every single unit in their armies, but XlorD's down to 2 Destroyers and not the greatest army against mass Headhunters, and 1 more falls, another one is low. XlorD continues to fight, but there's no statue for the sustain.
Exactly. He was waiting for that. Yes, started production once again. Can he load up a Coil Nova? Can't even dream about it at this stage. And I feel like the Dust Cell speed scroll used. First disengage, then re-engage. Little indecisive by Hitman, or wants to create some distance maybe.
What an extraordinary game one.
Absolute banger here. The last camp gets pulled, and XlorD will get that at least. I feel like Hitman is showing a little bit of nerves because I feel like he would have already tinied in a ladder match if he was super confident. He would have already thrown that tiny down, not cared. But here he's giving a lot of respect to XlorD. He's still winning the fights, but he doesn't have a win condition if he loses a fight.
So, Dark Ranger. Stomp again wasn't too great, but if
no
he gets
coil.
the DR kill, that might be it. Destroyer again being caught.
Oh my God!
That invo potion by XlorD. Extraordinary micro, but does that help with the Destroyer? Not really.
Does it help with the statue either? Does it help when the Dark Ranger is out of that? The surround with the Invis Wolf, but Hero Focus could go two ways. But coil used defensively. That's the only one left over. Lich must be getting close to a Nova. The statue doing actually tons of work right now. XlorD might be able to hold on here.
Imagine there's a big mana potion in the shop. XlorD had the gold. He would have popped it and then Hero killed and that's it. Next Headhunter down. How good is the statue block? XlorD has shown extraordinary micro already and was blocking his way into this final. Here's the Nova. Can he connect? Can he block? Can he surround? Can he kill?
Oh, there's almost a coil, but there's probably a heal wave as well. Farseer comes back in with tons of mana, by the way. A Raider comes in. Got to be careful with that Farseer, though. There's a coil. Not quite level 3 coil, though. It's going to be quite a while. Berserker falls, a Raider getting punished, and XlorD seems to have the bigger army all of a sudden, but skeletons do help, and they don't last forever.
Hitman was banking almost 1,000 gold and did spend a good chunk of it, but it's still no tiny, if I see this correctly. No. It was a mana potion, maybe a heal potion or something. Coil on the Raider takes that out from downtown. We've seen so many summons this game.
Ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
That Kodo is going to devour. The TC is going to be 5.8. Neo. If that TC hits level 6, I don't think anything in the world could stop that cow.
Maybe not. We have double ring on that as well in this situation when it's all about heroes. It's so good to have a tanky cow. And again, the Destroyer getting caught might require a coil. Can he break out? It's always a lot of damage that's ending up on the Destro, not on the backline, not on the real damage dealers. But the Kodo is hungry, gets another snack.
Yeah, it does eat. He could be focused down, but the next stomp is only seconds away. This next stomp's going to land on both Fiends. There's still Chain Lightning, the level 3 Wolves, if they get to connect on Fiends. If the Destroyers are caught out of position, Burrow is there. Is there dust? No, there is not. But Lab could reveal. Farseer got to be oh so careful. If that hero dies, XlorD wins this game. So close here. This game is absurd so far.
Game on a knife stat for 20 minutes now. Fiends constantly burrowed, constantly saved. Two Kodos might be dying here, but there's still no nuke for XlorD ready, or is there? I think the coils always have to be used defensively.
Yeah. Or else the Lich just dead to Stomp Hex, most likely. Destroyer now to solve the Hex problem. The Raiders have been very nicely dealt with throughout the entire game for XlorD, or else he just kites and he loses units as he does it. But here he's actually able to get efficiency. DK, I feel like, has been so close to level 5 for the last 5 minutes even. And Hitman, 5.8 on the Torn Chieftain.
Yeah, Hitman is not losing too many units, I feel, except the Raiders, of course, who have to move forward, and they are catching this Coil Nova and dead. But a lot of Kodos were saved with like 40% health. A lot of Headhunters are still there, even though hurt. But there is huge upgrades coming for XlorD. Level 5 DK, level 4 Lich. Those are almost game-winning levels.
Yeah, with the Dark Ranger, able to Dark Ritual those skeletons, infinite Novas. I'm wondering if those Kodos have Fiends, because that's going to be a lot of experience for the Shadowhunter on the way to level 5, TC on the way to level 6, and they'll be getting a little bit. And of course, when there's a Destroyer for free at the beginning of the fights, that always gives you a ton of experience. I think about 2 minutes left in the gold mines, most likely, and then we're going to be in a position where maybe Hitman's forced to Tiny and XlorD's forced to all in.
That would be crazy. XlorD is banking 700 gold. TC inches away from level 6, and then of course you can't kill him anymore realistically. You'd have to kill him twice because resurrection, but alright, there it is. Tiny Great Hall. Hitman's win condition is up.
This is actually kind of brilliant from Hitman because we all know XlorD. We know what he's known for. The patience, the sitting in the base. This is like what he's been doing for years, and Hitman realizes what's going on, immediately tinies. And look at the map, no scouts on the map for XlorD right now. He's just waiting for the gold mine to expire, so Hitman's going to be on 2 base for, I think, 1 more minute before the gold mines expire.
That might give him the edge on this very level. But there's a scout coming. The skeleton, that is, you're 100% right here. XlorD's signature move for years, for more than a decade.
Yep.
If things are at this stage of the game, at the 22, 23-minute mark, just sit at your base, mine out, sell a couple of units, get the best army you possibly can, and then it's clobbering time. He has confirmed that there is an expansion, and now it's to make a decision.
I think for Hitman, an Invis pot on that TC could be wise. He had shop control, but he actually didn't get the Potion of Vulnerability. Maybe the Lich had stolen it previously. Heal Scrolls are, of course, crucial against the Stomp Chain Lightning. But here might be the final fight. 54 against 58. The Wolves are trying to just buy an ounce of time, any amount for Hitman to mine on 2 bases. Might have a shot, but here's the potentially last big fight.
How is the opening for Hitman? How are the Storms? How good is the silence for XlorD? How well can he deal with the Raiders? So far, so good. Level 5 DK, but also level 6 on the Torrent Chieftain. Goes for reincarnation immediately. But the Raiders, almost both be dealt with, but the Shadow Hunter is here for the rescue.
The Destroyer,
What?
both times they get caught out of position by the Ensnare. That was 2 for 2 with the perfect Ensnare. If there's a unit underneath, they have to move towards the Raider. An excellent start for Hitman on the Stomp. Almost, but the silence is there. Of course, you cannot break that without a Potion of Vulnerability. And XlorD, the heroes are coming into play here, but the Stomp is going to be massive in a second.
It's also a little weird to engage into that semi-choke. The TC finds the perfect move right there.
my God.
And it's once again, oh my, the timing on the coil. Extraordinary. He's trying to fight against that. DK actually in trouble
Has
in the
Death
middle
Pact.
of everything. Has Death Pact, but for how long? There's no Invo Potion. Healed for now. Invo Potion passed over. Then now it's the Lich. It's on the menu, but the coil is ready. Split second decision. Lich dies though. Is that the end? It is. Hitman 1-0.
Oh my God, Neo. I don't know if this is any bias from both of us, but I think we'd both agree that was the best game of the tournament so far.
Ooh, baby, the skill level of this match through the roof.
Oh my God.
This is a dream match, and these guys deliver.
Yeah, they both played so well, too. They both played so well. I think XlorD, he had the items. Of course, he should have, if they were both playing perfectly evenly, probably should have won with those items. I think, honestly, it came down to the Destroyer micro. I think everything else was perfect from XlorD. His fights were really good. His hero usage was excellent, always keeping them alive. I don't think he lost a hero until the very end of the game. But it was the Destroyers. That's how Hitman got the advantage time after time.
Destroyer's super expensive. You lose the statue, basically, which could give you a lot of regen. It is expensive. It is 5 supply. Oh man, what a banger. I want more of this. The Storms, after we criticize them, stellar.
The Shadow Hunter still dies, though.
Yep.
We're criticizing that, maybe, but just level 1 there. Yeah, and at every stage in this game, they were dead even until the last fight, Neo. The very last fight. They were even. It could have gone either way the entire time. That was a crazy game.
And that's so cool, because oftentimes in these dream matches, yeah, it's a good game, but one of these guys makes a crucial mistake, and you always think like, what would have been if the hero doesn't die, or if he doesn't forget the item on the ground, or like, what if the Mountain King is not 10 seconds too late?
Yes.
Not here. This was pure skill.
Yeah, both these guys are just stone cold killers. They don't feel the pressure at all. They don't care about the banter they've had, the history between them online. They're just ready to go, and we can clearly see that they both came to play.
Oh, baby. If I'm not mistaken, Tidehunters, XlorD's map, and now we move on to Autumn Leaves, which is Hitman's map.
Yes, and that'll be an excellent map for Orc as well. I hate to say it. I don't want to see the 2. I would love to see 3 maps from these guys, but it is an excellent map for Orc, and the items can only be that good one game.
Okay, both guys, lots of titles on their chest, of course. XlorD dominating Germany, the 4-time Meister, the record Meister for Mouse is XlorD.
And in the upper right, the absolute dominator of NA at least. Will he be the dominator of Europe as well? It's Hitman.
At least for the season, though, let's not disrespect the eternal reigning America's champion of the region season finals.
Absolutely.
That is Cruncher, of course. Otherwise, he might spank us later, and we really don't want that. We have again a Farseer. We have again a DK. We have again Headhunters. And what's XlorD's build?
I guess we're just seeing the same, and more of the same. I mean, this is the 5th game in a row we've seen sort of the same styles, but I don't think this is going to disappoint at all. Who cares about the build orders? This has been all about the fights, the micro, the mechanics. just thinking back, the burrow dodges, the push and vulnerability stomp dodges, my god, the in-snare micro to catch the destroyer in the perfect position to jump it forward to the raider, just immaculate play from both players. They're not disappointing at all. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Oh boy, I can't wait for this to unfold. Autumn Leaves, relatively new map, and we have seen some changes here. So can you run down the early game for Hitman? What's important? What's his plan?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a couple of changes that actually kind of directly nerf the Farseer. The green camp to the right of Hitman's base now has a purge creep, so you can't creep that as easily. The two middles, which would previously be crept by headhunters in the mid game, much more difficult. But Hitman's goal this game is going to be to most likely try to keep the heroes as even as possible. Again, level 2 versus level 2 is the advantage XlorD if he has coils. He can chase down those headhunters, and we saw that. Remember, 4 headhunters, 1 grunt. That was excellent from XlorD in the early game.
He couldn't snowball with them because Hitman defended this relatively well, despite a couple of claws and these early losses. So what's the change here now? Lucy was crumbling under Hitman's pressure very, very early on. XlorD was 100% watching these games. He was finished super early with his series against Chemico, but he's facing the ropes now. He has to learn from what Hitman did against Lucy and make it better than the Korean.
I feel like Hitman is, we could tell this maybe from the grunt in the early game, Hitman might be adjusting on the fly. We were talking in the hotel yesterday to Hitman, and he literally said, what you're supposed to do against Ted Fiends is just sit at their base and wait there. That's what I do against Happy, and that's what worked against Happy. And now he's going grunt opener creeping level 3. This is Hitman making adjustments on the fly.
That's usually what XlorD is also known for. Ring of Protection doesn't really feel good when you just lost the map, but against this entire hero focus it might even be good, especially when 10 spears of the headhunters are flying at your hero. I would never underestimate the Ring of Protection. DK, level 2, pretty much uncontested. This is what you were talking about. Can he harass now, or does he move to the side? Nope. Both leave each other at peace in the beginning of this game.
Yeah, and Hitman will creep faster, but not fast enough for it to not be level 3 versus level 3. So XlorD is eventually going to get it. He just needs to creep his shop and then, I believe, a green camp, and he'll get it. So they'll both be level 3, and then it comes down to how much mana does XlorD have at the time he reaches level 3. Is he able to take a fight, or will he not have the coils against the level 2 wolves?
Whew, it's all about nuances here on the top level. Of course, whoever wins this best of 3 will get the top seed, will dodge Foggy, probably dodge Happy, probably dodge Moon. But oh, Creep Jack here, important to get this last one.
I suppose the creeping was just fast enough with that early grunt to cut 1 camp away from XlorD. What does that 1 camp do? DK 2.7 currently. And also dodge Chemico too, these players. I'm sure neither of them, XlorD probably doesn't want to face him again. Hitman definitely doesn't want to face him.
Oh yeah, after what happened at W3 Champions, very much understandable. A good block with the Wolf here, gets a couple of more shots on that DK. Of course, that matters as well. If you're too hurt, you don't want to move out too aggressively on the map. But yeah, very interesting to see such a tame Farseer headhunter.
Yeah, he's got level 3, and now he can more so focus on at least creeping his Torn Chieftain at tier 2, which was a problem last game, and he can pressure with just the Farseer alone. I'm really questioning how XlorD's going to get level 3. He's trying to get to the Tavern. Dare I say this is a much worse early game? No, I don't think dare I say it. It is a much worse early game for XlorD. This has been terrible. He killed 4 headhunters by now. Well, he killed 4 headhunters at this timing last game. No potential for that.
That's true, but this is also now the time where Hitman probably has to pull back, or at least send the boys back, just use them to creep up the TC, which is only now started.
Yep.
Tech pretty much around the same time, but there's tier 3 started for XlorD as well. This is not an unwinnable situation at all. It's still winnable for both of them. I think between these two guys, it will be decided in the fights.
For sure, yeah. That 0.3 difference of levels, I would give Hitman maybe a 5% advantage. Really winnable on both sides. Items are pretty even now. The Dark Ranger looks a little bit scary. The Farseer are going to get a nice item right here. And XlorD goes around to the consumable. Potential for a greater mana on the right side of the map.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many of these so far. Well, Happy hasn't played yet, obviously. But I really like what Hitman is doing. He's scouting with the Wolves. He's okay, you're going to that camp? That's fine. I mean, it has good value, but I'm going to creep the middle. And the middle, there's a lot more value.
And Hitman's most likely going to be able to get both of these middle camps if he doesn't want to. Does he want to contest this?
Oh, he's sandwiching him, isn't he? Here we go. But couple of headhunters low, and maybe Hitman is engaging too early.
Perhaps the Wolves, if they can get on top of the Fiends, will be great, but XlorD just needs his heroes. He's going to be able to kill probably a Grunt. It's going to be microed away. If the Skeletons expire, it'll be fine. But yeah, all you need is the hero at these stages, as long as you have coils. And this will be another Headhunter. Ooh, nice stomp. Will it be, though?
Oh, he's canceling the healing, and I think the DK should be in range too. Oh, raises the arm, but then vision was lost. Well done, but I think you can run as much as you want. Gets the snipe through the forest, and XlorD gets some momentum here.
There we go. Advantage XlorD, 2 kills. Book of the Dead potentially could be used if anything was out of position, but the Fiends were beautifully micro back to the base, or else one probably could have been chased down, especially with the Raider with Ensnare soon coming in. So Hitman gets one camp stolen away from him, but he gets one of the camps in the middle. So the creeping is going to be fine for both. The Dark Ranger maybe could focus on getting level 3. I think they're both going to recede back to their sides of the map now.
Looks like it. Fastia will harass, of course. It's not going to be an easy life for XlorD, as Hitman got so good with the multitasking, is always keeping tabs, knows exactly how far he can go, what can he creep, what big of a camp you can go for. XlorD, though, arrives on tier 3 a couple of seconds earlier. And of course, we're waiting for the Tri-Hero Undead combo with the Lich and the Destroyers finally, which then can deal with the Wolves and help with the Dispel. This is what XlorD is waiting for currently.
Absolutely, yeah. They both tend to hit power spikes at tier 3 around the same time, but XlorD can get that orb right away, which is most of his impact in the Destroyer form. You don't need to really wait for it. The statue can just morph when you need it, so his tier 3 will be a little bit earlier, at least the power spike of it, but Hitman continues to creep, and red camps might be on the table soon. There's a consumable left in the bottom right for XlorD as well, a couple of juicy camps there, but still, red camps for that TC. We saw him creep level 4 out of nowhere last game. Maybe he's going to do that again with the red.
Both are floating quite a bit of gold right before tier 3, so they can explode in upgrades. We see the Shadow Hunter and the Berserker upgrade immediately on Hitman, Destroyer upgrade, and Burrow now. So a tiny bit of a delay on the Lich, prioritizing Destroyers, and if you deal with Wolves for 8.5 minutes, I can understand that.
Yeah, interesting the Burrow, though. I mean, it's great for the Raiders. Chain Lightning there. Was that a last? I didn't see the experience.
I think so.
Was it? Yeah.
Yep.
Our beautiful observer checked the experience, but I wasn't looking at the bar.
I think the Dark Ranger is at 2.0. Is it another steal? Oh, no. He got it.
But he got the item, though. He got the Bone Chimes, which sucks for both players, but still a nice steal, some extra gold.
True that. Good selling value. And for Raiders, it might even be... Oh, not be too bad. But yeah, it's all about range in this matchup. Grunts, Tauren, Abomination, Ghouls, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, this is interesting. The extra creeping that Hitman's been able to do and the extra items he's gotten in the early game means his Shadowhunter comes out. Normally this isn't a possibility. I might be wrong. He got the orb right away. Normally you'll see Hitman, I think even last game, wait a while to get that orb. The Shadow goes out on the map, uses a mana pool, eventually goes back and gets that orb. But now he's a fresh level 1 Shadowhunter and has that orb, and you can do so much with that.
Interesting times. We're approaching the 10-minute mark. This is probably going to be very decisive. Who gets how much experience, who can get the levels up, who can get the army up. None of them is losing too much. It feels like it's not such a brawly map as we've seen on Tidehunters, where it was just a tug of war for 20 minutes straight, but rather a little calmer.
Yeah, it's less focused on the center, I suppose. There was a little skirmish between them. The first one, obviously not, when XlorD went for the consumable of Hitman, but then there was just a skirmish over the one middle camp, whereas on Tidehunters, a lot more camps in the middle. The turtles in the early game, the bottom half of the map, there's a lot of contestable camps, and this was also a contestable camp, but Hitman will get it for free. XlorD going for the same, and Cloak of Flames can be quite nice.
Yeah, if the TC is able to stay in position for a bit, that adds an extra 10 DPS to all the Fiends that he's wrecking already, as we've seen before in the past few maps that Hitman played against Orc. So yeah, adds insult to injury, and if this Wolf steals this now, that's bonkers.
He went for it. He went for the style points. That's the classic NA play. Lose a Fiend or lose a Headhunter creep in the camp, but go for the last hit and miss it.
Oh my god! Katka's pipe of insight. That's exactly what you want on a high prestige tournament when you're down a map.
I was about to just say, Hitman has the item advantage now with that Pendant of Energy that he got, but the turntables, apparently. Here we go. I'm not unwinnable, but if the fights are extended for a long period of time, XlorD's going to dominate with that Dark Ranger.
We have 2 Invo potions on Hitman's side. We have a heal scroll, we have a TP. TP also for XlorD has a heal potion and an Invo. Nothing really to protect his Lich. He has level 2. Didn't decide yet if Dark Ritual or Frost Armor.
Invis TC, Neil.
Oh! Does he detect it? Does he smell it? No fucking way!
How did he see that? Oh, he has a ward there. He put a ward down preemptively.
Okay.
Oh my god, the stomp is still massive thanks to the potion of invulnerability, but the TC is very low. First Fiend falls. There's going to be plenty of coils, but they do have to land the illusions to keep the Raiders alive, but I believe the real one was nuked. How the hell did that happen?
I don't know. I apologize, of course, but here we go. Lich in trouble in the middle of everything. Passes the potion. Keeps himself safe. The Stomp epicenter. DK seems to be surrounding as well as that. Hitman about to take the 2-0.
The Fiends are out of range of the town portal. The Fiends! No way! 3 go down. A mistake again from XlorD.
Oh, that is the destroyer. Is there vision? No, there's not.
Oh my
6
god.
supply down. First big mistake there. Wants to keep the Fiends a little too safe. And Hitman, is he actually winning Group B? Is he actually getting the winning rights with a 2-0? I mean, the games are super duper close.
Yes. Yeah.
But the result will stand forever. How long will people remember how close these games were? I'm not too sure.
I mean, I like XlorD. He's a nice guy, but I'm gonna be memeing him for a while if this happens. I gotta support my region, man. I mean, come on.
Dust settles. XlorD not without chances, of course. Stays at 50 while Hitman is breaking. So the Echo situation at the moment favoring the German.
Oh my god. Okay. Wonder if those Kodos have anything in their belly. If so, that gives vision. Maybe gives XlorD. Okay, one of them gives XlorD confidence to go out on the map, knowing he won't get caught out. But the map is entirely crept. And Hitman at quite a big advantage, but XlorD's below upkeep, and that's where he likes to be.
For sure. TC level 4 now. Shadowhunter not level 3 yet. Fasty also close to 5. Hitman is so close, inches away
No TP.
from huge upgrades, and there is no TP, no Invo potion. The life of the DK is on the line. Here comes the Stomp. Oh, silence. He was baiting it twice, I think. Now the DK seems to be safe. Maybe has to split. XlorD has to get away from that big stomping cow, and does a wonderful job.
Yeah, another terrible stomp from Hitman, but the Hex, he could have just killed that Death Knight. Oh, that could be a dead Knight. He stomps it. Chain Lightning. GG. 2-0 for the American.
NA #1, baby. Hitman takes the 2-0, advances to the playoffs as the 3rd player right after Foggy. And the bragging rights will forever be his.
Yeah, they both got to definitely give props to each other, though. I'm sure they're going to, say, GG, because those were GGs. If lose, it was BG, but still, they both played excellent. They both have something to be very proud of, and XlorD still has more than a shot to make it out of this group.
Definitely. He will face the Korean in the lower bracket final, that's for sure. Lucy and Semiko are fighting in the lower bracket semi-final for survival. But oh boy, we need a break, but thankfully we got Roddy and the boys.
And welcome back to the opening day of the DreamHack Warcraft 3 Championship, where Hitman is the first player to advance out of Group B. And Remo, my goodness, game of the day, game of the tournament so far. That first game was epic.
Absolutely, map 1, Tidehunters. What a start for XlorD, but Hitman holding on. Such a long, fight-intensive game. The whole map was scrapped, high-level heroes. That's the late-game action that's so entertaining. Tier 3 on both sides, triple hero, absolute madness. What a comeback. Definitely the highlight.
It felt like both of them were winning it, right? XlorD obviously got off to a great start, killing multiple headhunters. Then it felt like the early mid-game favored Hitman. Then it felt like XlorD took control again. But Hitman in the end was TC level 6. Was that the tipping point, or what was it?
Yeah, definitely had a lot to do with it. TC level 5, level 3 Stomp, really hard to deal with. You have to micro out of your mind, which XlorD did. I think maybe upgrades lacking. The problem for him, maybe a bit too passive following the TC, but hard to tell.
Yeah, on Hitman obviously incredibly impressive in the first game, and the second game perhaps even more so. I mean, we've seen a couple of NA stomps where he missed the units, but the stomps he did hit, he hit the jackpot.
Yeah, it's really easy to focus on the mistakes and kind of ignore all the great things that he was doing, and I told you he was going to win. North America #1. The words NA Warcraft 3 Lul were never uttered ever again going this day forward.
I was with you. I always believe in my orc brethren out there. I gotta say, a couple of those stomps were epic, as we can take a look at some of the highlights. I mean, that entire first game was a highlight. I love that stomp in game 2, though. The double kill on the Fiends. As Johan, are you already leaving me? You don't have to leave me yet. If you want to leave me, you can leave me. As we take a look at some of the final moments. Just appreciate the stomp stat.
Yeah, you mentioned like some of them missed, but the ones that hit hard. I loved how Hitman was on point with the invuln every single time silence was used to open up the fight. And it makes it so hard. Like if you ignore the Torrent Chieftain and you go for the units, which is what you want to, then the stomps land perfectly. If you target the Torrent Chieftain, then the units are doing the maximum damage, then the TC can still be saved with invulns, Town Portal, Healing Wave, and all of that.
Gotta say, I also love the Kodos eating all the time. Those Kodos never stop being hungry, are they?
Yeah, like me upstairs with the snacks, bro.
Wait until the sushi arrives, Todd. We are pretty much ready with the interview, I believe. So as soon as my producer gives me the heads up, they are ready. So Remo has taken the stage and the microphone, and he's gonna have some words with the winner of Group B, Hitman. Take it away.
Here we have the winner of the match and of the group. Hitman, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
First question has to be, why is it that NA is so strong?
I mean, we're built different, man. No one can match us. NA has always been #1 in the past, present, and future.
All right. Let it be a lesson to all you guys out there. Warcraft 3, LoL, NA, no longer a thing. Are you going to start banning people from your chat from now on for saying that? I mean, you have the proof now to back it up, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't really ban people from my chat. I love the trash talk. I love the hate. I love the drama. I feel like all of that really drives a lot of the competition, and it makes the game a lot more fun in general to have a lot of drama between players and, you know, grudge matches and all that. And of course, I feel good about winning this match because so many people have been asking for this match for a long time. And it just feels good to close it out with a 2-0.
Yeah, definitely the highlight of the tournament so far. Map 2, everything went swimmingly. Pretty easy sort of win for you, but Map 1, that was crazy. You were so far behind, lost 4 headhunters. You were in a terrible spot. What is the key to come back? How did you bring that game back?
Yeah, that was a pretty disastrous start. Losing like 4 or 5 headhunters. I thought I was done for. I mean, I was creeping with like 2 headhunters. I was creeping so slowly and I felt terrible, but somehow I feel like he could have played a little bit more aggressively in the bottom left side of the map. He took the Murlocs in the marketplace, and he gave me free reign over like the more valuable camps in the bottom left when I feel like he could have contested them a lot more. So, I mean, I did everything I could to come back, but I feel like he could have done more to stop me from coming back.
All right, you made it through into quarterfinals now in first place. There, everybody's talking about Moon and Happy. Is there another player that's a big threat that people are perhaps sleeping on that you're going to be careful about?
Well, everyone at this tournament is an absolute killer, so I can't take anyone lightly, but Moon and Happy for sure are the 2 favorites, considering the Chinese players aren't here. It's a bit of a shame that the Chinese players couldn't be here, especially Lin, 120, a lot of these really amazing players, but I do feel like Moon and Happy are the 2 favorites, and everyone's looking at them to try to beat them. But at the same time, everyone's just trying to make it out of their groups at this point. So I feel like once we get to the playoffs, we'll be able to predict how the brackets will play out a little bit more.
All right. Thank you, Hitman. Once again, congrats to your run, at least into the top 8. We're going to be back soon with a lower bracket, but first we're going to go into a break, and then we return here from Sweden for the global finals.